Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast, the only podcast within a podcast. Each week, we'll attempt to create the next hit audio show as we pitch our brightest ideas for pods about anything and everything. But more often than not, pretty much nothing. I am your host, Podmaster and Commander Dino, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Podmaster Chief Danders, and Davey is here too. Let's get into it.
We should start a podcast.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Welcome back to a very festive episode of We Should Start a Podcast. At the time of release, I believe it will be Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to all the podgoblins out there. Although, saying that now, I feel very sad for anyone who's listening to this bullshit on Christmas Eve. Please, for the love of God, go spend some time with friends and family instead of listening to this.
Come on, you fucking saddos. That's so weird.
All 5 of our fans are losers.
Well, actually, it's still just our family, so like...
Yeah. And they'd rather listen to our podcast than actually spend time with us.
Yeah.
On the mic is your Merry Podcast moderator, Dino. I'm just getting over being sick for the last few weeks and also kind of hungover this morning, so my bits may be even worse than usual.
And that's saying something.
I'm dealing with some pretty heavy brain fog, actually. Or should I say brain nog, because my mind is on the holiday season. Who else do we have here in the Christmas spirit? We have Danders. How are you, buddy?
Happy holidays, everybody. We'll throw in a happy Kwanzaa and, and a happy Hanukkah.
Be
right?
inclusive, yeah.
Put Diwali in there and Chinese New Year and, you know.
Oh, I didn't get any Kwanzaa sounds for my
Oh,
sound.
no.
Dave, you're going to have to do the Kwanzaa sounds ad-libbed in the moment.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I think Oh Jesus is quite a Christmas one.
That's clever.
How are you, Dave?
Merry Christmas, all. I am feeling festive, feeling good. Man, I am looking forward to getting home for Christmas. First time home in 2.5 years for Christmas. So.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, man.
Not your first time home in 2.5 years.
No,
Your first time
I've been
for
home,
Christmas
first time
and,
home for Christmas. A big fucking Christmas guy, man. I looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Oh, amazing.
Wait, so what do you mean 2.5 years home for Christmas? Does that mean like the last time you were home for Christmas was in July?
No, so I've been here for over 2.5 years now, and I haven't been home for Christmas since.
Yeah. Fair play.
It's been here.
Unnecessarily pedantic on my part. I'm sorry about that.
You're cringing
The
already.
numbers don't add up, David.
On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. Now, Rudolph, now!
Those are intense soundboards for a stock list. Like, I can't believe it.
I know. And it just so happened to have a Get the Dog in it.
Stuck in there in the middle.
I love putting together these special soundboards for the different seasons. So we had our Halloween soundboard before. I was thinking I was going to include the really long shouting again, but I decided to hold that one.
The one from the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Scream too long.
Scream too long. Yeah. There was actually a really long Santa laugh that was laughed too long.
Oh, really?
But it wasn't like quite long enough to be comedic. You know what I mean?
So it kind of fell flat anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the overarching theme of our podcast of jokes that fall flat and not very funny.
Because they're not long enough, right? Like
They're not long enough. Exactly. Yeah. And speaking about the theme of our podcast, what is the theme of our podcast, guys? Well, I can tell you right now, it is that we are trying to start a hit holiday podcast. We're trying to go #1 on the Christmas charts, but we don't have the perfect pod idea yet, I don't think. So this show is a sort of placeholder where we're pitching our ideas with hopes of catching Santa's attention and maybe landing a recurring spot on North Pole Radio. We've had some bangers, but we still haven't found the right show. So we will continue to pitch and pod. Is that fair to say, my boys?
Absolutely. You know, you've hit it big once you're on Santa's own pole.
I don't know how I feel about the way you said that. But that is true. Everyone wants to get on it. Even like Rogan hasn't been on.
No.
Radio
No. It's an exciting one for us, for sure.
It's an exciting time. It's Christmas time. Not really.
Yeah.
We won't let the listeners in on when it actually is.
It's July.
2017. Oh, and with that, I think we are ready to hear from our Podmaster of the Week, Danders. But before Danders pitches his show, I will remind everyone how this works. Danders today will be pitching his festive podcast idea and taking us through a complete trial episode. Following the podcast within a podcast colloquially known as a podception, we will collectively critique the show based on a classic podcast writing system. But before Danders pitches, I am legally obligated to remind all the pod goblins out there that WSSAP never do any research as to whether these podcast ideas exist in the real world. So by accessing the content of this podcast, including the information presented, opinions expressed, and the creative elements, you are hereby forfeiting rights to any intellectual property you may already hold in relation to your podcast. And if you have a problem with that, then come meet us under the mistletoe.
You nailed that disclaimer, man. That was the cleanest and fastest that you must have been practicing.
It was clean. It was fast. It was loud.
It sounded like how it sounds when you speed a video up and somebody's explaining their disclaimers at the end of a commercial or anything. Sounded good.
Well, that's what everyone's looking for in podcasts. People who talk really fast and really loud. That's the sign of a good podcast. With that in mind, Danders, keeping in mind that you're going to have to talk really loud and really fast.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce us to your latest podcast idea?
Yes, sir. So my new podcast will be called The Official List. Do you guys want to crack a guess at what you think it is based on the title?
Are we reviewing our own Christmas wish list that we're expecting the WSSAP listeners to gift us?
It's a good guess.
This shit isn't free, actually, for anyone listening. This shit is not free, so you will be sent a list of all the little prezzies that we're expecting from you.
Which will help to boost the podcast quality, help us talk faster and louder.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's that. It's most definitely that, is it?
Well, let's crack on and we'll find out.
Okay. Well, we are now ready to dive in to the jolly world of the Official List Podcast.
Welcome back to The Official List, your go-to source for absolute official rankings, absolutely officially. The only trusted official ranking of any kind the world over. We are proud holders of the official seal of approval for 10 consecutive years. A singular honor backed by all major governments and trade unions, bestowed annually upon one individual ranking outfit and representing the categorical power to categorize categorically. This week, we're honored and humbled to bring you the official Christmas list. But this is not about circling Argos catalogs and getting your voice louder and faster. As something of globally specific experts, the big man himself, Old Saint Nick, has reached out to us for expert assistance. I guess there's a lot more naughty people than there used to be. He can't dish out coal anymore for sustainability signaling reasons, so his elves have been busy farming clean renewable energy for the naughty children. The nice kids just want tech, so he's having to figure out how to make these circuit boards and silicon microchips at scale. Basically, he's swamped, okay? He doesn't have time to get through all of his list just there, so he's pulled in the experts to finish the job. I am your host, Consultanders. Please lend a warm welcome and a hearty round of applause to my other panelists of globally specific experts and festive friends, PhDino and Dave Maestrogan.
Wait, what was my name?
PhDino.
And what were you, Danders?
I was Consultanders.
Consultanders. I think Danders already sounds like it could be one of the reindeer names. Prancer, Vixen, and Danders.
Yeah, it was originally. It was the original Rudolph.
It was just all the reindeer and then you harnessed in.
Yeah, because of my big red nose. Right, so the way this is going to work, guys, is we're going to finish off Santa's list for him. He couldn't get through everyone this year. He's had a busy year. He's playing golf with the Easter Bunny. And like I say, a lot more naughty kids, and a lot more naughty adults, to be completely honest, right? So we're going to do a few different rounds. We're going to keep it fresh for our listeners as well, even though we got to get through these names, okay? The first round that we're going to do, we're going to call it a saint and a sinner. So each panelist will put forward one person for the naughty list and one person for the nice list. And we have to remind you guys, this is official. So if you land on that list and you hear your name, bye-bye. You're going to receive clean renewable energy if you're on the naughty list and tech with a capital T if you're on the nice list. So who wants to kick off with saint and a sinner? Let's start with you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Who is your saint and who is your sinner?
My saint is Gary McCarthy from Cork. So this year we saw a huge hit come out of Northside Cork. It was that, do you know that Spark by the Cabin Crew? Think you could stop what we do? I doubt it. Man, we were at a hockey game 2 weeks ago here. The Canucks were playing Flames or something, and that was playing at the start of or before the game. Huge, thousands of miles from home. And just to give a bit of a background, Gary holds like workshops in this porta-cabin up in Northside Cork, in the middle of Knocknaheeny, or in that area anyway. And it's just a porta-cabin. There's all this like music equipment and stuff inside there. He opens it for workshops. He has people inside there recording their own music. Dino will know, myself and Dino were up there plenty when we were in college. It was on a kind of a charity basis. So you go up and you pay whatever you can. So that could range anywhere from a $5 to fucking $500, euros, obviously. And yeah, he just wants to really cultivate the talent that Cork has to produce. And he's giving people that opportunity with that porta-cabin that he has full of stuff. And it's kind of like, it's so good for kids around that area, kids that like wouldn't have that opportunity or even be interested in making any kind of music and things like that. So I think to be able to have that song released this year and finally see some recognition on an international level, first of all, it's about time. And second, it's fantastic for him, for the Cabin Crew, that group. I think members of that group as well are part of asylum seeker group in Cork as well, and he just does so much for the youth in Cork City, and I think he definitely deserves to get a shout out for the Nice List in 2024. So big shout out to Gary McCarthy and the Cabin Crew and the cabin up in Knocka.
Why don't you marry him, Dave?
Yeah, he'd be delighted to get a shout out here anyway.
Great addition for the Nice List, Dave. And absolutely right, that is an official addition for our Nice List. Congratulations, Gary McCarthy.
Ho, ho, ho!
You should also say that Gary McCarthy is the artist formerly known as GMC.
GMC, yes, yeah.
Famous Cork rapper.
GMC
legend.
Beats.
He's a gent as well.
So for any of our listeners who aren't familiar with this track, it's basically a viral sensation which is out of our hometown in Cork. It's incredible, actually. Like it's one of the best things I've seen to come out of Cork, and it's been a global sensation. So yeah, hats off to Gary and all the kids and all the crowd helping him out. So a very, very worthy addition to the Nice List, David. Thank you for that one. So give us a sinner. Who do you have for us?
Well, this one's pretty topical, and I was quite worried that one of you guys would have this as well. But yeah, it's gotta be McGregor, man. It's gotta be Conor, man.
Another Irishman.
I don't know.
I've hated that guy for so many years. He's finally getting his comeuppance.
Finally getting the recognition he deserves as a bad bastard.
Yeah.
Another very worthy official edition. Do you want to expand on that, Dave? I don't know if there's listeners who aren't.
Yeah.
Maybe just Google it. Like, you know,
just Google it.
Yeah,
Just
you can Google it. I mean,
and Dave's obviously talking about his terrible performance in Roadhouse.
Yeah, that's why he's on the naughty list this year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty topical. He's a bad bastard. And like the problem is, and Dino know this as well, I always, for a long time, up until very recently, I was always kind of in McGregor's corner when the conversation came up. Like the shit talk, I was all for that. The even when he attacked the bus, I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you expect from a fella who's like a bit of a scumbag. But yeah, recently it's just a lot of stuff you can't stand on. You can't defend him. He was once a very, 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 very good MMA fighter. He's had some amazing fights. He's had some amazing shit talk. But like, yeah.
And it was exciting at the time to be in Ireland and supporting something that was successful on a global stage. But like you say, indefensible now, you know, I mean, you just have to wash your hands and say,
it's
look.
tough.
I mean,
and it's such a shame. And like a lot of people will McGregor was never a good fighter. He was a phenomenal fighter. When he was on his peak, he was like, if you like, there's videos online of him, of like people, like experts analyzing his fight game and his specific fights and the things he's doing, you know, checking distance and like combinations he's doing, things like that. Just phenomenal stuff. But of course, fame, money, drugs, women, obviously, kind of took over.
I don't know if they took over. I think he's always been a good fighter, and he's always been a terrible person. Like he's always been a terrible person.
I think the two of them are kind of hand in hand. You know, like one of the reasons he was such a killer was because he's probably a literal killer. Like, you know what I mean? He has that like nasty streak. I think, you know what I mean.
But McGregor, before the unbelievable amount of money he got, the McGregor before that, obviously. He probably still had a bit of scumbag in him, but he was still like humble. He seemed like a nice guy. He kind of kept to himself somewhat in a way. Like you see him in interviews, he's just talking regularly, and then that just flipped when he became the superstar icon that he turned into, that just flipped.
But I guess we can't pretend to know, what he was like as a person before. I guess we're just guessing.
Well, I mean, you can look at his earlier fights, you can look at his earlier interviews, you can look at things from like his earlier days. He was nothing like what he is now. And like you can see clips side by side of him now versus him then.
He's kind of a meme now. Do you know what I mean? Like you see him, I saw him playing poker, like just this YouTube clip, and he's just like, what's fucking 10 grand to me? And it's just such a, like, it really makes your skin crawl. Like, but
and he's all like roided up now too. He
he's
completely
such a
changed the way he looked.
Yeah, but like he did mean a lot to a lot of Irish people for a long time.
Man, it's such a shame. It's such a shame because he had such potential to be a great ambassador for Irish sport. Because he was so good, he had the potential to be that, but just his antics outside the ring just completely fucked it and turned the whole nation against him. Like how are you like one of Ireland's biggest, most famous sports stars of all time, and like half the country, most of the country fucking hates you now? How do you fumble that bag so badly? All you have to do is just keep your nose clean, so to speak, and just fucking
I saw a good Waterford Whisper headline. So that's like a satirical Irish news site, kind of like The Onion. Can't remember exactly what the title was, but it was something to do with McGregor's Coke dealer has come out with a statement saying that McGregor's actions don't align with his.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. So he sold Proper 12 in 2021, right? Or whatever part he owned of Proper 12.
That's his whiskey?
That's his whiskey, yeah. He sold that in 2021. And since then, he's still been in the company as like a social media presence and an ambassador for them. So like doing marketing and shit like that. But now since he was found liable of SA, he was dropped essentially. So Proper 12 have now like cut ties from him. He was supposed to be involved in an upcoming game. You know Hitman? Do you know the game Hitman? Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be involved in that game, the new game that was coming up, but IO Interactive have dropped him from that. He's probably going to lose any kind of UFC endorsements and stuff.
I hope so.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, anyone who supports him now is just automatically kind of disgracing themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm surprised that he even lasted so long. Like, remember when he knocked out that old man in a pub in Dublin because he wouldn't drink his whiskey?
Well, yeah.
Like, how did that not ruin him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, he's a professional fighter, and he knocked out an old man drinking at a pub.
Well, we know what side of that Danders was on anyway. He hates old guys.
I was coming to him, that old man.
You watch that video every day.
But even that, I was kind of like, fuck it. Like, that's shit. Of course, that's shit. I wouldn't do it. But like, it didn't turn me entirely. It didn't turn me entirely. Maybe that's more of a reflection on me. But like,
all right, guys, look, we wasted enough breath on
this isn't a McGregor cast.
That man, it's not a McGregor cast. Never will be, please God. But thank you for two worthy additions.
Oh, do you need a naughty sound effect?
Yeah, give me a naughty sound effect, please.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
Nice. One of my favorite sketches.
That's from I Think You Should Leave for all of the non-believers out there. Highly recommend to watch if you have a twisted sense of humor. So thank you for two worthy additions. So Dino, let's move on to you. We have Gary McCarthy and we have Conor McGregor. Gary Coleman feature on your list at all? Or?
Gary Coleman. He's in the naughty and the nice, actually. Well, I'll start with my naughty, seeing as we were just talking about Naughty McGregor. And we were also talking about viral sensations in 2024. And my one is also a viral sensation. And my naughty pick of the year is the street virus known as COVID-19. Okay. It's very, very naughty.
It's not very 2024, though.
Yeah, well, this is a note I have here. That's one of the reasons it's naughty. It's COVID-19. It's a bit outdated at this stage, you know?
You're right, yeah. It isn't like a savage. It's just like a little naughty now, you know? Yeah. And you're not expecting it, and that just makes it naughtier, you know?
Yeah. Tried to make a bit of a comeback, but was just a little
sneaky.
Bit limp, and ultimately no one really cares. It was kind of like Tyson and Jake Paul, you know?
Well, I would have cared about that. Yeah. I mixed up because it said Saturday 1 a.m. where I was based. And so I had it right in my head the whole week. And then when the time came, I was like, oh, Saturday 1 a.m. is like Saturday night. But obviously it was Friday night, like just into the nighttime. But I heard also it was just a tragic affair. And so I was like, oh, I missed it. And then everyone was like, it was just the limpest, most depressing thing to watch.
It was a bit dead. I was actually, as my backup for the nice list, was actually going to be Jake Paul for not knocking out Mike Tyson. Because that would have been very sad for the boxing community, sporting community all around the world to see Mike Tyson get knocked out. So and to be honest, I kind of believe he could have landed a few more heavy punches on Mike, and he didn't. So I think he held off just because of that. He doesn't want to upset people, which, you know, that's a net good thing. That's a good thing.
Danders would have liked it.
Danders would have loved it.
Another old man knocked out.
He's not that old. He's not that old. Anyway, let's give PhD some time to air.
But that's basically it. Just a naughty virus. It's killed a lot of people, but more importantly, it made me a little bit sick last week.
Yeah. which is why we missed a gap in recording for all of our hardcore listeners out there who noticed that we were a little late with the fourth release. It was the naughty COVID-19, and now they lump it in with the common cold. You know, you can get your jabs for COVID and the common cold, and
I've had both. I was surprised I got it. I've had the Fauci ouchie, and I've had the seasonal flu vaccine, so I'm surprised that I got it still.
I think I didn't take any boosters after I got the however many I needed to get fully vaccinated at the start. Which was, I can't remember which one I had, but it was 2, I think, that I needed to take. So maybe it was AstraZeneca. I can't remember what way around it was now. But I didn't take any jabs since then, and I've never caught it again. So, and when I did have it one time, I was pretty well asymptomatic. I was nervous of it getting worse, and it was just like I was feeling like there was something, you know, like I was fighting off a kind of infection, but I wasn't really feeling bad. And then it just disappeared. So I'm quite lucky. Yeah.
I have a notoriously bad immune system.
I have a little tidbit about Dino for our listeners, but we went to school together, secondary school, and every year around exams, he would just, from the pressure of studying, come out with a rotten cold, and just like I'd see him in the exam hall, tissues all over his desk, but that wasn't anything to do with the cold.
I was about to say. I was just like going at it.
Oh God, yeah, and the big red nose. He could have been Rudolph himself. Give us a naughty sound.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
A worthy addition, thank you, sir.
That was my naughty pick. And my nice pick, this one's a bit earnest, is my wonderful co-host, Danders. I've been wanting to make this podcast for a while, and it would have been impossible without him. I'm only joking, Dave. My pick is also you as well. It's my 2 wonderful co-hosts. Thank you for putting up with this dumb bullshit. And
that's a real sweet pick.
Helping us make the show into something that is probably less dumb than it would have been if it was just me let loose on this shit.
No one wants to see that.
I love these 2 little fuckers. My 2 nicest guys of the year.
That was a real sweet pick, Dino. Give us a nice sound.
Ho, ho, ho!
Okay, so that was A Saint and a Sinner. Thank you both so much for partaking. We are going to move on now to our round 2, which is called Self-Exposed, to prove our credibility as highly accredited official rankers. We put ourselves on the line. Of course, it's kind of devalued for the fact that Dino's now put us officially both on the nice list. But the idea, but Dino's still up for grabs. The idea is that, we give the naughtiest and the nicest thing we've done, and then our other 2 panelists will agree which side of the list that we land on this year. So we are going to get right to that. But first, we're going to take a quick short break, and we'll see you here again in just a quick second. Welcome back to the official list. Let's play Self-Exposed. Dino, please give us the naughtiest thing you did this year, followed by the nicest thing you did this year. And we will decide between Dave and myself whether you land on the naughty list or the nice list.
This one was tough, Danders. This one was very tough, but I was able to put a couple together. So my naughty confession of this year is a bit of a 2-parter. The first part is that one of my favorite pieces of media that I consumed this year was, unfortunately, MILF Manor Season 2. I don't know if anyone out there knows what MILF Manor is. It's a trash reality TV show. And in the first season, the premise was that there's like 12 smoking hot MILFs who are going to this villa in Mexico with the hopes of finding love with a younger man. All the young guys arrive, but you don't see them yet. And then there's a big reveal. The curtain drops, and it turns out that all the young guys that the MILFs are dating are all of their sons.
No, they're not dating their own sons, though, right?
They're not dating their own sons.
You have
can
to
only
do
find
it.
the
You
show
have to do it.
deep in the dark web. So this first season was absolutely fucking wild. Second season starts, and I'm like, what's going to be the twist this year? Surely they can't do the same again. All the guys arrive, and they're not related at all. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not going to watch this shit if they're not their sons. You should be able to have a little bit of incest. So I'm just like, the whole first episode's going, and the MILFs are getting on really well with these young guys, but you're waiting for the drop. And then at the end of the first episode in season 2, all these older guys arrive, and it's all of the young guys, single fathers, and then the MILFs have to date the sons and the dads. And it was an absolute masterpiece in trash reality TV. And the second part of this confession is that I wasn't a big fan of Dune 2, and I think that MILF Manor season 2 was better than Dune 2. I did enjoy the big worms though, so if they could incorporate that into
MILF Manor
third
season
season
3
of MILF Manor, yeah.
You have to ride a worm.
That would add some extra spice, if you will.
Yeah, it would. So yeah, it's a very naughty confession, Dino. I don't know how we're going to top that one, so hopefully you've done some pretty nice stuff this year, because it's not looking good.
So the nice one, that's hard, man. We talked about this. It's hard to big up yourself with a nice confession. So I kind of cheated out a little bit, but my nice confession is that in the year of 2024, I am still using Tidal as my music streaming service of choice because they're paying artists the most. But in reality, it's because I joined it years ago to get early access to The Life of Pablo in 2016, and I've been too lazy to quit. But they do pay their artists a lot more than other streaming services like Spotify and Apple, which is great. Pay your artists, pay us, please, out there. We'll be waiting for those Christmas donations. But yeah, so like Tidal pays about 3 times more than Spotify per stream.
So it's an interesting confession. I like where you're going with the Tidal thing. I heard Snoop Dogg say once that he only got like a 40 grand check ever with all of his stuff ever put together from Spotify, which is pretty nuts when you think about how successful he is as an artist. So I get what you're saying. Dave and I will consult, and I guess we'll decide which side of the list you land on. So David, I'm inclined to put this chap on the naughty list, man. Like that MILF Manor season 2 thing, that's pretty naughty. Like that's as naughty as it gets.
That's pretty naughty.
And to be honest, like I think he's kind of naughty for using Tidal as well, man. Like like that isn't normal. That's a weirdo move, man.
Yeah, I don't think Dino even gets a look at the nice list. I'll be honest.
Yeah. So clean renewable energy for Dino. That's a naughty boy.
Do you think Tidal's the naughtiest?
I think it is. Yeah.
No. Deezer is probably the naughtiest. Who the fuck is on Deezer?
Can you listen to music on X videos?
Oh, OnlyFans Music is out now as well.
Yeah. Only jams.
Only jams. All right. Okay, so another official addition to the naughty list. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
Sorry about that, El Dino. Better luck next year. Clean renewable energy for you, good sir. Now we'll move on to David Hogan. Please tell us the naughtiest and the nicest thing you did this year, Davey.
Yes, sir. Or should I start with? Then I'll start with the naughtiest. I was in Seattle there a few weeks back for a football game. There was a group of us, small group of us. I won't name any names. We were pretty drunk.
Diddy.
Diddy was there. Diddy and Connor, but all there. Yeah, we were pretty drunk. We were drinking all fucking day. Since like 11, 12 o'clock in the day. Got towards the end of the evening and we were getting kicked out of a place as a group. I felt wronged. I felt like I was fine. And to be fair, when we first went in, they served me, but they wouldn't serve the rest of the group. And then when I went for my second drink, they were like, no, we can't serve you as a group now. I was like, okay. So I obviously wasn't the worst going in, I think, maybe. There's a way to serve me. Anyway, so for that reason, I felt wrong when they were like, no, we're not serving your friends. I was like, yeah, fuck this. So, and I was getting kind of tick with the bartender, as you would after drinking for 12 hours. And we were asked to leave as a group. And as we were leaving, it's a bit blurry, but I remember like there was a glass on the bar counter and I fucking knocked it off and smashed it. And it was very, it was
Petty
more
Hogan.
But,
Do you know
yeah,
you'd have the fear after drinking just from regular nights? This is something I had the fear about, like even like a week or two later. Even now, I'm just like fucking cringe, and it's like that's not like me, and that's not what I do. But yeah, that was probably the naughtiest thing I've done recently.
I love the positioning that like you were way better than the rest of the guys. Like they were clear.
No, I was setting that. I was kind of explaining why I felt wronged at the time. If I went in and they were like, "No, none of you guys are getting served," like, okay, fair
All the
enough,
glasses are getting smashed.
But like I felt like I was going in and I got served initially, and then I felt like my friends were being wronged because I was like, if I'm okay to get served, why can't they get served? So that was I was laying the foundation there, giving a bit of context. Not that I was definitely as fucked up as the rest of them. Clearly,
It's a pretty naughty act, David, and I am worried for you. I should specify for the listeners that the result of this round will supersede the previous round. So Dino did put both myself and David Hogan. Dave thought he was in the clear, but both of us were put on the nice list as a sort of a temporary positioning. But this round will finalize and supersede whatever happened in the previous. So it's not looking great for Dave at the moment. We still have to hear his nice side. But yeah, you should feel ashamed. You should feel ashamed. Petty Hogan over here. Can you imagine? So let's hear your nice thing. Maybe throw us a Hail Mary, Dave, and we'll see what can happen to you.
over the summer myself and my fiance were in Maui in Hawaii, and we were sitting in a Mexican restaurant eating some tacos, and there was like maybe 2 meters from us on my left there was an older lady came in, and she had 2 dogs with her, like 2 small like fucking terriers or whatever, but they had support dog vests on. You know those vests they put on dogs, support written on it. And we were sitting on like the edge of a balcony, and there was a banister or a railing or whatever, fair enough, but the dogs were kind of chilling next to her while she was ordering her food or whatever. And the next thing we heard, like you heard your one roaring. What the fuck's going on? We noticed that one of the dogs that she had on the lead had gone under the banister and fell off the balcony, and the dog was being held by the lead, right? So then the guy
Get the dog, get the dog.
yeah. The
one time we don't have the sound effect.
the guy next to us, so there was like one table in between where we were sitting and where the lady was sitting, and there was a guy sitting there, and he just leapt over the banister to try and get the dog. I looked at him, I was like, that fella is gonna fall over, because he was tethering between like, falling over and staying on the balcony. So I went up and I grabbed his ankles, which allowed him to kind of slip down further and get the dog and
get the dog.
and save this old lady's support dog. So I feel like obviously he was closer to her, so he had the opportunity to make that leap over the balcony banister, but I helped with the ankles, holding his ankles. So I feel like that. I feel like it was
he was the nice guy, Dave. You just kind of tried to throw in a
scammed in on his nice act. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, he's not here. He's not here to talk for himself. But yeah, I feel like that was, to be lads, I'll be honest, it was tough. It's tough coming up with nice things.
Yeah.
Yourself,
every year we find it tough.
How high was the balcony?
I would say there was about maybe 2 meters between the balcony base and the ground outside the balcony or whatever, like, but it was into like kind of a creek, like a water. So I feel like if the dog fell, could have drowned, never know, just kind of building it up. But yeah, no, I feel like we saved that dog. Your one was very, very happy. I saved your man. He was gonna fall over the fucking balcony, man.
Yeah, you saved a human life. Yeah, no. To be fair, David, that's a lovely, nice act, and thank you for bringing us that one. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I didn't realize you were that nice. To be fair, like all this time I've known you.
Thank you.
So much appreciated, and I guess Dino and I will now have to deliberate on whether you can stay on the nice list as per previous inclusion, or whether you are getting clean renewable energy and you're stocking this Christmas. PH Dino, what do you think?
I think that slight ankle assist does not bring Petty Hogan into the nice list. Yeah. He smashed that glass and he can never take that back.
Yeah. Thinking he was better than everyone else, smashing glasses. Yeah. That's a naughty boy for me, man.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, and he went back after that restaurant incident and finished that dog off.
He wanked
not
the dog
in the
off,
killing
or?
way.
All right. Give me a naughty sound, Dina. We have another naughty list. I'm sorry for Davy Hogan. That's
Sorry,
two.
Hogan.
That's 2 out of 3.
That naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
I have heard a really sad story, just to down the mood for a moment, about a guy who climbed through a window with a dog on a lead and like killed the dog by trying to pull it through after it. You know what I mean? So maybe we cut this scene out because it's not really very festive.
Oh, Jesus.
If only there was somebody there to hold his ankles.
Yeah.
Then maybe the dog would have survived.
So I guess I'm going to put myself on the rack as well, guys. I should clarify for our listeners that this does not affect our ability to officially rank. It does not matter whether we're getting clean renewable energy or tech with a capital T this year. It does not mean that we cannot officially rank and categorize categorically. So with all that said, I'll give you my own list. So where to start with? I guess I'll start with the nicest thing I did this year, since it's dog adjacent as well. My poor, sweet old family dog passed away this year. Aww. She was, I think, 14 years old. We actually thought she was going to live a lot longer because she was so full of vim and vigor and love. She was the sweetest thing you've ever met. She just had a real sense about human energy and emotion, the way not all dogs do. And she was a real sweetie. She passed away this year. And I just went back home to my parents' house for the week just to make sure that it didn't feel too empty, you know, with that lack of space or, you know, extra space even. So not really a comedic moment, but at the same time, that's my addition. That's my submission.
That was your nice, like, oh, you went home for a week.
I went home to support my family. Yeah. So
I'm nice because my dog died. I was like,
yeah, wait, what? Poor me. Give me nice. So the naughtiest thing I did this year is a bit embarrassing. Maybe more embarrassing than Dave's broken glass situation. So you guys know I changed job this year. I landed a sick new job. I'm really happy with it. I've been chasing one for a long time.
Big ups.
Thank you, sir. When I left the old job, I had been given this big data management task right before leaving. My company had kind of sold my services as a data expert, which I really was not, even less so then than I am now. And I'd been given this task to do that was way above my head. And I just kept procrastinating and putting it off, knowing that my time was coming closer, but just not being able to like pick up a pen or a spreadsheet or whatever, just getting closer and closer to the end of it, sort of fretting about it. And then eventually my final day just came and went. And I didn't give the laptop back for a while and then managed to pass it back to them through friends. And they were like, I pretended that all the completed files were on my laptop. And they were like, please, you have to give us your password so we can access all of the work that you've done. We don't want to waste all of the time that you spend on it, hard working hours. I was like, oh, yeah. And I gave them the wrong password altogether. I was like, I'm sure it was either this or this, and neither of them were right. So, naughty boy. So it's up to you guys.
And now it's released into the world. That's information.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that no one will connect to this podcast for quite a while. So, and it's too late. I've already left that company. Bye. So, so you guys can decide which list can I land on. Am I getting clean renewable energy or tech with a capital T?
I'm gonna give you a nice list edition, Danders, because honestly, what you did with your company, that was sticking it to the man, and we need more of that in this day and age. I back you in that one. And the dog thing, I don't know how that makes you nice. Your dog died, whatever. No, I'm only joking. You did a nice deed. You went home.
I struggled with the nice one as well, like Dave was saying. Like 2-3 days ago, I was on the tram and I took a seat, and then this lovely man offered his wife the seat that was next to me, and I moved over into the seat that had absolutely no space next to this really huge man so that the man could sit with his wife, and I nearly gave us that one, and I was like, that's the shittest nice thing ever. So I really struggled to find nice things I'd done this year. I was looking through messages and photos trying to jog my memory. It turns out I'm a bit of a shit, but
aren't we all?
But it doesn't matter. I'm
Dave,
on the nice
what do you
list.
think?
Oh yeah. I have to get Dave's confirmation. So Dave.
Yeah, I think you pulled an unfair wild card, dropping your dog's death in there. But look, we're gonna have to accept it. And for that reason, I guess you can slip your way onto the. With an asterisk. Yeah. With an asterisk, you're on the nice list.
We both know how to play dogs' lives to our advantages.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Well, that was a lovely round of self-exposed. Thank you both. Thank you all. So I guess I'm the only one getting tech this year. But, you know, you guys are still very worthy official rankers. So that sounded bad.
I like that title. I'm an official ranker.
Put that on your Tinder profile.
I'm an official rancor from Star Wars.
I'm an official C-3PO. So nice.
That actually was on your Tinder.
For a long time. For a long time. Okay, round 3. So this is called Nice List Hall of Fame, guys. So each year we do our Christmas list. We get one more person onto the all-time Nice List Hall of Fame. This doesn't have to be a 2024 edition. This can be of all time, right? That's the whole point of a Hall of Fame. So the caveat is that if we can't agree and reach a consensus after every panelist has aired their nomination, then there's no new edition for 2024. No new Nice List Hall of Fame. And then Santa's going to be pretty pissed, man. More paperwork, bad feedback. So we don't want a mistrial, okay? So let's try and reach a consensus here. Who wants to go first for their Nice List Hall of Fame? Dino.
Yes, my Nice
Give
List
us your
Hall of
nomination.
Fame. My nomination is a man that I think is pretty widely regarded as one of the nicest people of all time. A famous American television host, author, and producer, known for personifying genuine, unwavering, almost saintly, pure-hearted decency. And that man is Mr. Rogers. Actually, do you know what? As guys who grew up in Europe, you probably have no interaction with Mr. Rogers.
I do know
at
about
all, or
Mr.
even
Rogers.
know who he is.
I've seen that film that Tom Hanks did about him, and I was just aware of him because a lot of people would take the piss out of how nice he was and how kind of creepy that could be conceived. But no, please carry on. He's a saint, apparently. Yeah.
He's a saint. Wasn't a creepy guy at all. Had genuine care for everyone in his life, and apparently was as nice as he portrayed himself on TV. Like, I couldn't find a bad word on him anywhere on the internet, which is a pretty big feat in this day and age.
Absolutely right.
Lots of great stories about him. He apparently wrote back every single fan who ever wrote to him.
There's a lot of love for Mr. Rogers out there, yeah.
There's a great video where he's testifying in like the US Senate trying to get funding for educational TV shows for children. And apparently, I can't remember which president was meant to give him money, and then Nixon came into power and it's like, no, you're not getting this. So he testified before the Senate and went on this big speech about how much he cared about children, and then at the end sang the US Senate a song. And all of these hardy men who were very stone-faced before, they all like started tearing up. And in the end, they gave him millions more than he was actually originally promised.
That's so touching, and it's so warming to hear that stories like that these days. When, like you say, it's so often the reverse, and especially people in situations like Mr. Rogers, like a lot of them didn't end up being very nice guys, and we could name examples, but we don't want to make things, uncomfortable necessarily for the listeners. But a lot of children's host TV shows really stood on Mr. Rogers' shoulders, and he was a shining example. So I think it's a fantastic nomination, Dino, and I hope for all of our sakes that he makes the Nicest Hall of Fame. David Hogan, who's your nomination for Nicest Hall of Fame 2024? Great sweater.
My nomination is Akon. Akon.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
You might be vaguely familiar with like the fact that he does a lot for African communities, a few bits and pieces. So he has like initiatives for solar energy for rural Africa. It's called Akon Lighting Africa, founded 2014. He wants to provide solar energy for millions of people across Africa in 18 different countries. Yeah, it's I guess it's philanthropy, but yeah, he just does a lot of work providing electricity and housing and stuff for people across Africa, as well as that, which is actually this is quite an interesting one. So he wants to build this thing called Akon City, right? I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a city that they want to build. He wants to build in Senegal. It's been described as kind of a hub for innovation, technology, sustainability. Obviously, it's going to provide plenty of homes and electricity for underprivileged people in parts of Senegal. They want to have their own currency, like a cryptocurrency. And they say it's expected to promote economic development. Don't know how that works. I'm not really an expert in that field, but I think it's kind of cool. He does a lot of investment in African businesses. He promotes a lot of African artists through his label Con Live. He did a lot of work over COVID-19 relief, or for COVID-19 relief during that dark time. And yeah, he just overall does a lot of work for African communities. He's obviously African himself, so that's his tie. But yeah, he's overall good guy. Overall, a lot of work for communities that really need it. So
A very, very worthy nomination. And I hope for Akon as well that he makes the Nice List Hall of Fame. If not this year, then some year he has to make it, guys. Come on, let's put faith back in humanity, please. So I'll give you my round. I'll give you a nomination as well. And I feel like a bit of an asshole after the ones that you guys have covered. So my Nice List Hall nomination is Optimus Prime. So
Optimus Prime, to be fair, does do a lot of work in
he does in
African
African communities specifically, right?
He does, yeah.
He saved the world on numerous occasions, really brokered peace between man and machine, became a shining example of just how good-hearted a machine can be, and was also a real true pioneer in the battle to turn the tide of public opinion of AI and organic machinery. So certainly, a real nice guy, like never heard a bad word about Optimus Prime, kind of like Mr. Rogers. So and it's going to be a tough one, guys. Like, I hope we can reach a consensus here.
Mr. Rogers walked so that Optimus Prime could turn into a truck.
Yeah, that's how nice he is.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Akon, we have Optimus Prime, and we have Mr. Rogers. So can we reach an agreement, guys? What do you think? Are we going to vote? And let's cast our votes now that we've heard everyone else's nominations. So we'll do a round robin. And I will start the vote by giving it to Mr. Rogers. So that's my vote. I think that Akon's incredibly worthy as a nomination, and I do hope that he makes the cut one day. I think he's got a lot of time left to keep proving his saintliness and his niceness. But Mr. Rogers, he had a wicked run at a time when, like I say, he really became the example of how good you can be. So that's my vote, and I'm sticking to it. How about Dave Hogan? What's your vote now that you've heard the rest of the nominations?
Yeah, I really hope for this episode's sake that we don't see a surviving Mr. Rogers in 10 years' time on Netflix.
Oh, stop! Yeah,
this will not age well if that's the case.
Surviving Optimus Prime.
Yeah, no, Dino had a pretty good case for Mr. Rogers, so he gets my vote. Even though I'm not very familiar with, like, obviously growing up in Ireland, I'm not familiar with him at all from my childhood. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no.
You can vote for Akon. It's just this. You can vote for Akon, or you could vote for Optimus. There's just the the unnerving truth that if Dino then splits his vote again, and we can't agree on a majority, then there's no new Nice List Hall of Fame, which would be a
if I know Dino, he has no problem voting for himself.
No,
so I'll go with Mr. Rogers.
Excellent choice,
Thank
Dave.
you, David.
Excellent choice.
Dino.
So, just to clarify, is this who we think would win in a fight?
Well, that's got to be Akon. No, come on, give us best out of 3D. Who do you think takes the cake out of these three nice boys?
You know what, Dave hit the nail on the head saying that I have no problem voting for myself. I think it has to be Mr. Rogers. He is the example of how you should treat other people and how you can be a good neighbor. That was his whole thing. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He's inspired generations of kids since he was on the TV in whatever
I feel
year,
like
so.
Even in that Tom Hanks movie that I mentioned where he does like a biopic of Mr. Rogers, I think it's called Another Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood or something like that. And in that, like, there's a reporter who's kind of a bit suspicious, and he's sort of trying to catch Mr. Rogers out a little bit by going and spending some time with him and just sort of seeing if he's different behind the veil or if he's got some dirt on him. And he leaves just thinking he's the most genuine, pure human he's ever met in his life, and he's just singing his praises evermore, and those guys became really, really good friends. So that's just goes to show, Tom Hanks is the best guy you've ever known. So,
Tom Hanks, Chet Hanks, all the Hanks.
So give us a nice sound. We have a final happy addition to our Nice List Hall of Fame.
Ho, ho, ho!
A very worthy addition. A very worthy addition. And my runner-up was someone who a lot of people say would be the best choice to take over Mr. Rogers' spot on a TV show if they continued it, and that would be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, totally.
He was a runner-up for
fantastic, me as well. But again, like with Akon, he's got plenty of time to get on the Nice List Hall of Fame. He's certainly proven his salt so far, his metal. So let's hope he sticks with it. And yeah, all best of luck to Keanu and Akon in future draws. So good luck to you guys.
And Optimus.
And
obviously.
Optimus. Just keep doing what you do,
Also, a
Optimus.
man that's proved his mettle.
That's right. Yeah. All right, fantastic. So well done to Mr. Rogers. Congratulations. You're on the Nicest Hall of Fame. Right, so round 4 we're going to move on to now here, guys. And that is quick fire. Just before we conclude, we've got a few names left on Santa's list we need to get through. This is the final few. And then the list is finished and everything has been completed. So we won't do too much substantiation. We'll just naughty, naughty, nice. Well, there's 3 of us here, so whatever majority is, Dino's going to hit the soundboard naughty or nice, and then we know what list they're on. So, starting it off, Elon Musk. Dino.
Naughty.
Dave.
Nice.
Nice, okay. Me, naughty.
So it's a naughty all around.
Yeah, majority rules.
Yeah.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
Kamala Harris. Dave.
She's nice. She's nice.
Dino?
She's a bit of a fool, but she's nice.
I'm going to say nice as well.
I'm going to say naughty, but nice rules. Well done, Kamala.
Ho, ho, ho!
Home Alone's Kevin McAllister. Dino.
I'm going to say naughty.
Dave.
Naughty.
That's a naughty child, man. That's a naughty child.
Yeah.
The ends justify the means, but he's smashing faces, man. Like that's a naughty boy.
Lethal
little boy.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
Lindsay Lohan. Dave.
Nice. I think.
Dino.
I have no reason to think otherwise.
Nice made a comeback with a movie called Irish Wish this year. That
Actually, no,
that was
naughty,
last year.
naughty. That
It was.
movie was fucking.
She has a
cat.
new one out. Yeah.
All right.
Bless her, man. I feel
Straight
bad
naughty.
for her.
Ho,
I'm
ho!
switching that.
Oh, that
All right.
naughty old elf.
Cool. The Ghost of Christmas Future. Dino.
The Ghost of Christmas Future.
He's the spooky, scary one that doesn't say anything and he points and shows Ebenezer Scrooge the horror that his life is when he hasn't
Okay.
been socializing with everyone and so on.
And what character was that in the Matthew McConaughey movie, The Ghost of Girlfriend's Past?
It's been a while since I've seen it, to be fair.
I'm going to say naughty. Just 'cause
Dave?
it's a spooky ghost.
Naughty, I guess.
I give him a nice but naughty rules.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
Kanye. Dave.
Naughty.
Dino.
Naughty.
It pains me to say it, but it's naughty.
We have a naughty boy. We have a naughty boy.
Oh, that naughty old...
That's enough. Meghan Markle. Dino.
I don't really know.
You just
enough
have to.
about
You
her.
just gotta. You gotta.
I'm gonna
you
say
gotta.
she's naughty.
David.
Tina. She's nice. I think she's nice.
I'm going naughty. Naughty rules.
Oh, that...
The Grinch. Dave.
Misunderstood. Nice. Nice guy. Misunderstood.
Dino.
I'm saying nice as well. He pulled it together in the end.
3 nices. He finishes off nicely. Yeah, he's a sweet boy. He's a sweet boy. Actually, his heart is 2 sizes bigger than everyone else's at the end or something like that.
Ho, ho, ho!
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Israel. Okay, so let me caveat. So we're gonna put them on the naughty list, but we're gonna say it's because they don't celebrate Christmas, so they don't really have a place on the list.
Right.
You know, so
That's what I
we're
was
gonna
gonna say.
circumvent that
Yeah.
one very, very, very quickly.
Our producers are saying we need to move on.
Yeah,
Quickly.
Taylor Swift. You know,
Oh, I'm putting Taylor Swift in the naughty category, and she just
Ooh.
really annoys me.
Naughty.
You know,
naughty,
sorry, Dave.
naughty.
Okay, I'll go nice. I think she's a hard worker. I really don't like her music at all. I think it's very, 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 very average. And I tried to basically I fell asleep for 10 years. I woke up and she was an absolute sensation, best-selling artist of all time. And I was like, oh, maybe she's absolutely killing it. And I listened to a song and it's just dog shit, man. It's not even, it's just so average. But I think
It's
she's a
very
really
meat and
hard,
potatoes.
very meat and potatoes. I think she's a real hard worker. And I think that I shouldn't begrudge anyone's success just because I'm not really into it. But so I would have given a nice, but naughty rules. So I'm sorry, Tay.
And I'm looking forward to next year us releasing a Taylor's version of this podcast episode. Okay, she's getting a naughty.
Oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean bastard to give us this so early.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, David Hogan.
Don't know enough about him.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say naughty.
Dino.
I know nothing about him. Never even heard that name before in my life. I'm going to say naughty.
I would have said nice because he's he's in my estimation, he's a super ambitious guy and is clearly trying to make his mark in politics and clearly trying to be very, very different for the prevailing 10-year Tory government who really kind of left the UK in the absolute shite. So, like I say, trying to make an impact, but naughty rules. You guys,
It's a quick fire round.
You guys have it. You're right.
Oh,
Drizzy Drake, Dino,
Oh, Drake is very naughty.
Dave.
He's a naughty boy.
Probably naughty.
He's a naughty boy. 3 naughties. That's the unanimous decision.
oh, that naughty old elf must be one mean.
Okay, that's all we have time for today. That's it for...
Wait, but what about Mr. Harvey?
Yeah, but we'll leave that for next year's list. Okay, so that's it for another official list. The list is now finished and Santa is ready to roll. Thanks for joining. And if you didn't agree with any of our rankings...
Have you been a good little girl?
Is that why you wanted to bring up Mr. Harvey?
No, unrelated.
No, totally unrelated. Despicable. So thanks for joining. If you didn't agree with any of our rankings, too bad. You are 100% wrong. It's the official list. Didn't you hear the whole spiel at the start, you idiot? We have the official seal. Sick of this.
We do.
So, sorry we didn't have time to recite the full list for you today, but rest assured, if you didn't hear your name in this episode, then Santa has already counted you, and you will find out what side of the list you are on when you wake up on Christmas morning. I pray that none of you or your families will be receiving clean, renewable energy this Christmas. All our love, happy holidays, and thanks for listening.
I like that.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast, already in progress. We just heard Dander's latest festive podcast idea. I believe it was called The Official List, and this was the official Christmas list podcast edition. Is that correct, Danders?
That's absolutely correct, Dino.
That's absolutely correct. And as always, we will be critiquing the official Christmas list podcast using the classic podcast rating system based on 3 criteria. And those criteria are, number 1, the concept or the general idea of the show. Number 2, longevity. Do we think this show has legs to grow? And number 3 is pod sauce. This is the je ne sais quoi flair or extra spice to the podcast that makes it a winner. Pod sauce could be literally anything you enjoyed from the pod or something you thought gave the pod some extra flavor. This week's pod sauce segment is sponsored by Mrs. Claus's secret recipe homemade extra smooth cranberry sauce with added natural chunks.
Yeah.
That sponsor
Natural
sounds
chunks.
deliciously naughty.
I know a little insider information here, guys. Claudia came around. Let her name out of the bag now. That's not embarrassing. Claudia Claus, guys. That's the. Her name is Claudia, and she's a dote. She's a sweetheart. But she did let me in on the secret that the chunks depend on whether you're on the naughty or the nice list, and it is smokeless coal. If you happen to be on that naughty side and you wake up and you have some cranberry sauce in your turkey, you might find little smokeless coal in there, or you might find little lumps of gold if you've been a sweetheart all year. So, you know,
Smokeless
that's
coal
why
is what they called J. Cole this year after bowing out of that at Beef. So after discussing those 3 criteria that are concept, longevity, and pod sauce, we will each give our final rating of this week's podcast. Will the official list podcast be a smash hit, or should we trash it? Danders, why don't you take us through this rating system?
Thank you, Dino. So as you guys heard, there's 3 rounds of rating. We've got the concept of the podcast. Then we have longevity, how long this can last. Can you make a living out of a podcast like this, or is it a short run? And then finally, what's the special secret sauce? So Dave, what did you think of the concept of the official list?
Well, I think it could be the suspicious ADHD, but I am a slut for a good list, so I really enjoyed making.
Excuse me?
Yeah. I love a good list. Love a good list. So yeah, I like the concept, man. It was fun. It was fun to prep for it and stuff like that. So yeah, thumbs up on the concept.
Thank you, Dave. Much appreciated. Dino, what did you make of the concept?
I loved the concept, Anders. It actually got me quite in the festive mood. It's still November.
Aww.
Oh, shit. Let it out of the bag. But, you know.
Just about.
It got me thinking about my own Christmas list for this year.
Oh.
Who's on the naughty list? Who's on the nice list? Who's getting clean renewable energy from me this year?
Do you know what? It was really hard to get that official seal. Like, that's 10 years in the making. So I'm really glad that you guys like the concept, because otherwise, fucking waste of all the governments and trade unions' time. What about longevity? Dave, what did you think of the longevity?
Well, there's an infinite list of things we could do.
Right.
So yeah, I could just keep making lists about fucking everything, really.
It's official. Like, it's the official list.
It's got a blue tick. It's got a blue tick next to it.
It's the only one in the world.
official.
It's needed. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no other podcast that do lists like this.
This is the official
so, yeah.
list. So
I don't think I've ever seen another list, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely as legs grow. So yeah.
fantastic. Thank you, Dave. Much appreciated. Dino, what did you think about longevity? Have we got room to run with this one?
Rum to run.
Rum to run.
We do have rum to run, Danders. I think that, like Dave said, we could make lists about anything. Like, explain to me for a second here. So this episode in particular was about the Christmas list, but the show in general is listing, like making official lists of anything. Is that correct?
That's the exact idea, yeah. And once the official list has been listed, it's official. You know what I mean? So it can't be questioned or turned around, which is why both of you are receiving smokeless coal or a clean renewable energy source, more likely hydro or solar.
Okay.
In your stocking this year.
Once the list is official, can we, as the official list makers, update that list?
Not
and
until
overturn-
next year. Yeah,
Not
one
until
a
next
year.
year.
One a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Okay, great. So that's longevity. Now we have pod sauce, keeping with the same order. Dave, what was your sauce for the week?
My pod sauce was Danders giving us information on prepping for this. Myself and Dino racking our brains trying to come up with like genuine and authentic examples for people who should be on the overall nice list. And then Danders pulling out Optimus fucking Prime after us working really hard on it, getting real fucking examples, and then Optimus Prime. Yeah, like I enjoyed that. It was a bit of a twist that I didn't expect. So yeah, that was my pod sauce.
You guys warmed my hearts with your nicest Hall of Famer, but I think Optimus was a worthy addition. So Optimus is your sauce of the week. Thank you, David. Dino, what was your pod sauce for the week?
My pod sauce this week was an act of pure heroism. Is that the word?
Yep.
Courage. Like, even thinking about it now, I'm getting goosebumps, literal goosebumps. And it was the way that Dave held that guy's ankles slightly.
I knew it was coming. I knew that was coming.
Wow. GQ's
Yeah.
Man of the Year.
Yeah. So Dave's ankle holding is Dino's sauce of the week.
I've seen like people stop him on the street and people are like taking selfies of him holding their ankles.
Hold my ankles. Okay, so that was the sauce for the week, was the Dave's ankle holding. Thank you, Dino. So finally, can I get a smash hit or a trash it from you guys? Let's start with Dave.
This is a smiggity smash hit. Good job. Well done.
Thanks for the context. Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho!
Dino, did you think that this was a smash hit or should we trash it?
You know, Danders, usually I do the whole thing of giving some critique and then saying, it's a smash hit. But I'm just going to have to say straight off the bat, it's a smash hit. I can't say
too
anything
easy.
negative about this podcast. You were in my nice list of the year, and you came through with the nicest podcast of the year. Smash it from me.
Ho, ho, ho!
Nice.
Much obliged, Dino. So we have another smash hit on our hands. This could be the one, guys. The official list could be the new podcast of We Should Start a Podcast.
Wow. I think this is the one. I think we've
it.
finally
This is
done it.
Right?
This
just
is
just in
it.
time for 25.
Oh, fuck, we've done it.
We've done it, guys.
Fuck.
I don't know, though. I don't know. I feel like we should keep testing just in case.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
think
know.
so?
I'm just nervous. Like, okay, so, everyone can list and we like a list and it is official. Like I said, it was a lot of hard work to get that official ranking, the official seal of approval, a lot of work. But still, some people aren't as ADHD as Dave and they don't love a list, and so maybe we just need to kind of try for some lower hanging fruit. This is like maybe not the easiest one for everyone to digest, so maybe we just need to keep looking. What do you think? Just in case.
I would agree, Danders. We had a resounding positive response today for the official list podcast. It's a very merry, spectacular smash hit. But like you guys know at WSSAP, we do like to hedge our bets. So until we can get this festive boy into production, we will continue plotting, pitching, and of course, podding until we can find that next pod smash. What do you think, Dave?
I think so.
Thank you. Dave was coming in clutch with some great closing words there.
I think we keep going. I think it's fun. It's fun doing it every week. So until we find it, until we get there, and even when we do, we'll probably still keep looking. Because once you make it big, we start to become enemies. We start fighting. No one wants that. So we'll keep potting away. Keep looking.
Now, where's
searching.
Mrs.
We'll get
Claus?
there.
Dave's filibustering. Wow. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Listen out for the official Christmas List podcast coming soon exclusively to the naughty Mrs. Claus secret recipe homemade extra smooth cranberry sauce with added natural chunks podcast app. If you think that we should start the official List podcast, please rate, subscribe, and let us know at WSSAP Official on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. We are inches away from a huge idea, and you can tune in again next week to hear us pitch that next hit show. And I really think that one is going to be the Christmas miracle we've all been waiting for. But until next time, folks, keep your ear to the grindstone. And from the very bottom of our hearts here at WSSAP, we wish to echo the everlasting words of the poet Clement Clark Moore. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good podcast. See you next year.
Happy holidays, everybody.